Hey everybody, I wanted to do a special discussion board PowerPoint here talking about Storyboarding 101. What I'm really looking for from you this week as we get closer to the end of the semester. As you can see, when we step through this, your assignment is going to be to take your own scene script from our earlier discussion board work and use it to create a storyboard. You're going to use your textbook and my supplied PowerPoint to get into that groove and figure out the terminology you want to use. We're going to incorporate this basic storyboarding into the assignment, but please know that your artistic talents are not being graded. You'll see that my artistic talent leaves much to be desired and is pretty crappy. So what matters most is that we can see what your shots and scenes look like. It's imperative that you have both narrative and visual flow, and that can only happen when you're prepared with a plan, and a storyboard is a terrific plan. Your whole goal here is to make us see what you see. I want to say that if you did not write a scene in the previous assignment for whatever reason, you can follow those instructions and write one now so you can use it, so you can at least get credit for this one. Or even if you did already write a scene, you may write a new scene for this assignment, but only if you want to. Feel free to use the scene you wrote before, right? That's certainly what I'm doing. I'm taking the scene that I posted for that assignment as my example, and I'm going to storyboard it and show you what I mean, right? There's an attached template here that I want you to use. You're going to fill it out. On the left side is going to be dialogue and action and descriptions. And on the right is the storyboard image on the drawing. Again, stick figures are fine. Artistic merit is not what I'm looking for here. Every time the camera shot changes, though, there needs to be a new storyboard image or drawing because the camera has changed, the shot has changed. You may have several lines delivered in the same setup. That needs to be situated on the left. You'll see, I'm going to walk you through my example panel by panel, and hopefully that will make it clear. Once you type, you can use this template to type in your the left information, the dialogue, the action descriptions, and then print it out and then just draw in the right boxes. Once you're done, you can scan the pages. That's what I did, or you can just take pictures of them with your phone and post them. Just be certain that we can read both your words and see your images and get the correlation between the two. They work in tandem. One without the other is useless. Again, your artistic talents are not being graded. Stick figures are fine. The important thing is that you're able to share the camera shots visually so we know we're all on the same page. Again, you're going to look at my example. I'm going to walk you through it. You'll see exactly what it is I'm looking for. The important thing is that you explain, demonstrate how you see each shot so we can see it, right? Here is my first panel. On the left top, you see this is my first camera shot. The interior description, the kitchen at the Heckler's house. David Heckler standing at the sink doing dishes after the family's nighttime meal. He looks like he's had a long day at work, tired, and his clothes are unkempt. Lisa, his first wife, enters the room. So you can see under there it says long angle, eye level shot from behind of David at the sink as Lisa walks up for him. And my drawing on the right, as sad as it is, shows you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing David standing at the sink with the counter. I see Lisa walking in from the left. The arrow points out that she's walking in, right? I've even put Lisa over the left, David over the right, just so we're all sure, right? So that's my first camera setup. So I know I'm shooting that shot. The next shot, I'm going to cut to a medium shot of Lisa and David once she gets to the sink, right? She's standing facing the camera and her back's against the sink, and he turns to her and says, "That was good meatloaf." So you can see his head is turned to her. She's looking at the camera. So I'm getting a perfectly clear, if simple, vision of what it is that needs to be shot. The next shot is just a close-up eye level shot of Lisa. Once again, my pathetic but funny little drawing right there. David, eye level shot him turned talking to Lisa, right? So there's some repetition here, which is what I wanted. This is how I want to document their conversation. This is called shot reverse shot, right? So David to Lisa, back to David, back to Lisa, and then there's a moment here where they have a little bit of a coming together, right? They have a moment here. So as you can see on the left, I want a medium eye level shot of Lisa and David from behind. They're now both facing the window, but their heads are turned toward each other. David says, I just meant, and she says, I know what you meant, but you should have known. It was a rhetorical question. So at this point, I did this because I want to make sure we see both of their faces, and we have the opportunity for these actors to do their stuff. This whole scene is about tension. As you may or may not remember, the whole point of this show is that there was a polyamorous family, a Mormon family, I think it is. This is from a previous student's work, who has moved to a new town and are sort of the weird family on the block because they have 3 wives. And this is the source of the tension here. Lisa's the first wife, and Marianne is now the new wife. I guess there's only 2 wives, pardon me. And so here they're looking at each other because what they're really talking about, right, is this new person in their lives who also is changing things. So the last shot on this page is a close-up eye-level shot of David, sensing the tension from Lisa. So I want to make sure we get him a nice close-up while he's talking to her. And you'll note that in the dialogue, he's saying, I mean, what's one more, right? Meaning we can expand our family and we can get along. And of course, we switch back to the 2 shots so we can get both of them again. Talking about Lisa saying, I knew I was getting into, I knew, and David said, yes, but so did I, and so did Marianne. And then we get a close-up of Lisa, who says, I just want her to remember who was here first. That matters to me. So here we have Lisa really standing her ground, and so I want to make sure that's a close-up. Well, as this is interesting, we go back to another 2 shot, and David and Lisa are talking. He's drying the dish. He turns to Lisa to reassure her, makes a full turn. That's why the little arrow is there. So they can have a moment. They can look at each other meaningfully, and he says, of course she knows who came first, so do I. So cementing them. And then we cut to a high-angle wide shot of the plug being pulled and the water's draining out, right? So Lisa on the left is reaching into the sink, as you can see in my picture, and pulls the plug so the soapy water starts to drain, and David's on the right. This is sort of some symbolism for me, some metaphor I'm trying to work at, is that the sink is kind of their relationship, and now it's being cleaned out. So now they're all understanding. They're sort of having a clean start, if you want to say, right? They're sort of done with this conversation. Hopefully there's been some resolution. And then we cut to Lisa, and she says, I hope you do, I really, and she's about to say something else. And of course, Marianne walks in. So we cut to the same shot we had when Lisa walked in, but this time it's Marianne walking in from the left. So it's the same setup. They're meant to echo each other. David and Lisa are at the sink. Marianne is walking in, and she's got one more dirty dish in her hand. And she realizes there's something going on, but she doesn't know. We all know that feeling, right? So she just keeps pretending. She walks in pretending all is fine. All right, on to the next sheet, in which we're going to cut to a close-up eye-level shot of Marianne while she says, here you go. It was at the end of the table. So it gives the actress a close-up and an opportunity to convey some of this discomfort we're talking about. She knows that she's an issue in the home. The next shot, since we're changing shots, another panel, another image, we're cutting back to that high-angle wide shot we saw earlier when they were draining the water, clearing away the problems. But now Marianne is putting a new problem in between them, right? Marianne is putting this dish into the plate into the empty or dish or plate into the empty sink, and it makes this clinking sound that kind of echoes to the room. Lisa's on the left, David's on the right, and Marianne is right there in the middle, right? So it's visual storytelling underlying what's happening in the narrative. And then we cut back to that same long shot we've seen before with the eye-level shot from behind with David and Lisa at the counter, and Marianne's walking out the way she walked in, and also the way Lisa walked in and will also walk out. So I'm definitely trying to echo those shots for a visual effect and also for narrative support in visual storytelling, right? So then we cut back to a medium shot of Lisa and David at the sink, one we've seen before. Things have changed now, though. So she is standing facing the camera with her back against the front of the sink. He is still facing the sink. So now they're no longer equal, right? They're now at sort of polar opposites, because now there's tension again. And she says, oh, well, what's one more, right? Which, of course, is a throwback to the question, to his statement about what's one more wife. She's talking about the plate, but she's really talking about the wife. And it sort of reopens this wound that they have between them, right? So with that as our final words, we cut back to the same wide shot, the long shot of Lisa walking out. leaving David at the sink. And then we cut to a high angle shot, David turning on the faucet and starting to wash the dish, and sighing. So we switch back to that, and now David is alone with his problem, which is the dish. So that's what I was going for, right? So I want to see something similar from you. Take this exact same idea and do the same thing, right? Have your dialogue and your actions and your settings, all that written information on the left, and on the right have the corresponding image. Every time the camera shot changes, there has to be a new image. Otherwise, why change it, right? So remember to consider things like the size of the shot, wide, long, medium, etc., the angle of the shot, high, eye level, low, all those things that we talked about, depth of field, the focus of the shot, if it's unusual, different in some way, in what way. I didn't specify any myself in the scene, but you might. Are there any camera moves? My camera didn't move. My camera was very static in this setup, because that's what I wanted it to do. I wanted to really focus on the dialogue in the scene. You may have something else in mind for your scene. The point of this is to make us see what you see, so we can make it a production reality. The point of this is not to be a great artist, as you can tell. All right, I look forward to seeing what you have to come up with, rather. Thanks.